Quant, Torn, Compound, Doge, AERODROME, other altcoins. Let's take a look at them. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name is Neil. We keep technical analysis short and sweet. And I just want to point out some kind of different visual for Bitcoin. What I personally like to do, just for visual stimulation, is look at it inverted. And inverted, think of it as like water, right? This is liquidity. It's water. So the water's coming down. It's the CM guppy. And we see that it broke the structure right at that 200 EMA, which is actually bullish. And it pushes way up. The bears try and sell off, and they get pushed down. They try and sell off, get pushed down once more. They try and sell off, get pushed back, try and sell off once yet again, and cannot make it through the CM guppy fully or this upward trend line, and it gets pushed down heavily yet again. Tried once more, and this is about as weak as it can get for this particular, scenario. So imagine there's a massive boulder sitting right here, and the water cannot push up over that, so it has to flow in the other direction, which is actually bullish. So that's all very good news for Bitcoin starting to push up. And we see that this one day kind of pushed back a lot of the other markets in the altcoins, but it's just one day. So we're probably going to see something similar to these red lines, maybe a little bit of consolidation to test that boulder once more, maybe break through this and then come right back through and take off. Moving straight over to Doge. Meme coin, obviously, but very nice play out looking for Doge. You can even consider this an inverse head and shoulders as well, but this is a very strong support trend line on this black line moving upwards. We are now holding above 21 cents very nicely. This is the range that it may be trading within to test this once more, but it hit the 618 almost perfectly from its low point. So that's kind of how we figured out it would be pushing back up to 24. A little bit of consolidation. I said we may have a little bit of a retracement, which we did, and we are back at the 24. When we get over and hold over this, we can expect the push up to 29 cents and then beyond, as once it gets to 48 cents, it is going to go nuts. So keep that in mind. 25 cents is not a bad deal for Dogecoin, even though it is a meme coin. AERODROME, I brought this one up recently right before the pump hit, breaking over that 200 EMA, and it went up 89% within the past week, I guess. And then I said we may come back down, retest this downward trend line, which would be healthy to see, which we are pretty much seeing currently. So if you missed out on that 89%, wait for that retracement, see if it has stabilizing support while the 200 EMA comes up and the CM guppy starts to get a little bit closer. But you see, if we zoom in, we can see that it did not even make it into this second line before it just got burnt, shot up out of the downward triangle. So we may get a pushback into this second line here as well. If it pushes a little bit further, no worries, it's just a better entry point for AERODROME. PIN is another one I brought up. This can be traded on MEXC. The reference is in the description below. If you use that reference link, you get $10 free of USDT. And if you're using MEXC, I usually recommend using a VPN if you are in America. But it's a very nice trading platform where you can actually buy PinLink, which is similar to Render, which we kind of branched away from. We can bring it back as it's looking a little bit better in the market. But we have a very nice pattern forming, and we are trying to get over that 200 EMA that is barely showing up, and very, very high volume. So all of this looks very good. For PinLink, it is only 92 cents right now, but I think this has some very strong utility behind it. I'm actually going to bring up something that I talked about a long time ago, math. When we saw math forming something similar, at a major pump from here to here, which was about 329%. This is actually more so what we are looking at with PIN, and we can see that when math finally filled out and got close to that 200 EMA once yet again, major pump of 388%. Moving down here, we had a pump 521%. This is actually right whenever it crossed over that 200 EMA and then had these major pumps and rejections before taking off to that 500%. So pin USDT, that's kind of the formation we are looking at right here. We are getting over that 200 EMA with very high fault volume. Moving on to one of my, I guess, weekly or monthly favorites is Tornado Cash, holding above that 200 EMA. And it is looking very nice as it is above the $11 mark. And I believe I had somebody request, or actually somebody was trying to get into Tornado Cash. It was Daniel Davis was asking about Tornado Cash. I'm glad he's actually interested in this coin that I've been talking about for washing money. That's great. I love washing money, but I don't do that. No, we clearly don't do that. None of this is financial advice as well, but it is at $11.74, which is above this black line that we needed to break. And now we are looking at a downward trend line that it needs to break in order to start moving more upwards, but very strong support on that 200 EMA. Looking at compound. Compound is obviously there is a clear W formation forming here. We've seen that happen in the past on quite a few coins that I've been talking about, and we are holding support on that new downward trend line. If we go underneath that, it's not really a big problem, as this is just consolidation before its next push up to the $61 mark. And then once we close above that, there's a very long way to go to get to the 618, being at $100 more or less. So pretty strong bullish momentum. $73, we may have a little bit of rejection, but keep in mind it's only $51 at the moment, all-time high of nearly $1,000. QNT still doing its consolidation sideways, which is not a bad thing. It is very healthy for this market. Clear support right in this area off the downward trend line, building this upward trend line and keeping above the 200 EMA. It is getting very, very tight in here, and we are seeing a lot more bullish pressure than bearish on QNT, as we had this bullish engulfing where the blue candle closed above the previous day close and a push upward. So if we go into the 4 hour, we can see a little bit better what it looks like. It does look like it's hugging the 200 EMA real tight, but they try and sell it further and it just keeps going up and up. And I believe the 618 is right around here, right back at 124. And then we may have a little bit of rejection consolidation before pushing up towards 149 and 171. Definitely a swing trade on QNT, which brings me to BNT, which is following exactly what we talked about previously, hitting up in the dotted red line, had that little bit of rejection, support on the downward trend line, pushed up yet again, and we are almost off to the races. We need to see this hold and close, which is most likely when Bitcoin will push up a little bit and close a little bit higher, and then we'll start seeing BNT take off. It is currently 82 cents, all-time high of $20, so that is one of my go-tos at the moment, as well as QNT, XRP, XLM, XYO, all that good stuff. And DNT, here we go. DNT is starting to push up over that 200 EMA, and I want to show for an example, like if you are stuck in a trade when you could be using a portion of your money to scalp other profits. In one day, DNT did 21%, went back to nothing. The next day went up about 20% more or less, and then nothing. Another day, we could maybe get another 20%. So in 3 days, if you're scalp trading this, that's 60% with whatever money you gain from a longer swing trade. You see within a 4-hour bar, massive shot up, and then immediate rejection. Even selling right here, you would still be up in profit, and then it pushes down, and you see that you have some support. You get your entry again, another shot up, rejection. That's in 4 hours, so you have 4 hours to get out. But DNT, there's a lot of profit to be made in scalping. However, once this thing closes and holds above the 200 EMA on the daily, it also has a very long way to go to get back up to the 25 cents. From a 3-cent investment, that is pretty substantial gains for any money that you are putting in DNT. But again, do not put all your eggs in one basket. And lastly for this video is going to be GRT. GRT is filling out that inverse head and shoulders very nicely. Came back, retested the 618 retracement from the push up, came down, touched that, held support on that upward trend line, got some consolidation going, and now we just still need to inch up over this 10-cent mark right above the 200 EMA, and we can see minimum double money before GRT starts to take off to its all-time highs, which are $3.50 from a 10-cent investment. That is astronomical gains. So GRT is not a bad bet either. None of this is financial advice. I hope you guys enjoy. Reference links below, free money, airdrop money, all that good stuff. Good luck, have fun with it, and I will see you on the next one.